Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right. So Beta, welcome back. It's good to see you again, or see your face.
Thank you. This is actually the first Clubhouse conversation I've been in like 3 weeks, so I'm really excited.
Wow, nice. Welcome back to the app.
What's up, everyone? Corey, what's up, buddy? Ashley, Alicia.
Yes.
Maria.
So everyone in the audience, this is the format of this. It's totally open forum. So really the goal is we want to be taking as many people from the audience and chatting with them. So please raise your hand and we'll bring you up on stage and we can have a kind of free form, unstructured conversation around the keys to abundance and manifestation, as well as anything else you guys really want to chat about. So Maria, Corey, Shane, Alicia, I see you guys in the audience. If you raise your hands, we'll bring you here up on stage and we can chat. Let's see, I got one hand. Maria's coming up. Yay.
Oh.
Hi, Maria. Welcome.
Corey, we'd love to have you up, man. I'll invite you to speak.
Hello, everyone.
Shane, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
Hello.
Hi,
Yo.
guys.
How's everyone doing tonight?
All right, let's so we got everyone up here on stage. Awesome. So why don't we just go ahead and go around? I'll call on people. We can just say hello, a little bit who we are, and then we'll jump into our conversation. So Brandon, you want to just do a quick little
Hey, Erica,
hello?
what's up?
Hey, P.
What's up? What's up? Hello, everyone jumping in. We are just getting started here. My name is Brandon Beecham. I am one of the better looking of the two. No, kidding. I'm not the better looking of the two Positive Head podcast hosts. That was Erica below me. And, I just wanted
I don't know about that,
her.
B.
I couldn't see her eyebrows raised. I was hoping, but I can only imagine. Like, really? Is he really going there? And I wanted, it was originally my idea to start this particular regular occurring, actually Beta suggested it originally and I loved it. And then we decided, you know what, I just wrote the book, The Golden Key. Let's make it about abundance and manifestation, a Q&A. You know, as you know, Eric and I doing the podcast 5 days a week, we get sort of tired of one-sided conversations talking to ourselves. So it's really, really nice to get people to come ask questions, share, hear other people's perspectives. That's sort of the idea of this. It says keys to abundance and manifestation, but we're really open to all things, you know, the ultimate nature of reality centric and, you know, how we can shift and better ourselves and just share perspectives. So that's all from me for now. Beta.
Hi, everyone. My name is Beta. I am a huge fan of Brandon and Karen. I'm just here to fangirl. I love listening to the conversations you guys have and just being a part of it. And really, one of the things Brandon always says, which is so true, is that we teach best what we most want to learn. So that's why I'm here. I just love anything, any and all conversations about the nature of reality and manifestation. So hello, that's me. Karen, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm Karen. I'm Brandon's partner, and I'm a huge fan of Vita. I am a speech therapist, but I also support Brandon at the Mystic Manor and with the project The Golden Key, which is the book that kind of initially inspired this this room. So yeah, that's me, Erica. I'll pass it to you.
Thanks, Karen. And my name is Erica, and as Brandon said, I'm the co-host of the Positive Head podcast, and I'm a huge fan of everyone, and also a huge fan of this conversation, and I am really excited to see what comes up tonight.
Okay, awesome. Let's hear from Maria. Will you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Maria De La Luz. I first got introduced by listening to Brandon's podcast, Positive Head, and been to the Mystic Manor, and always enjoyed everyone, Karen's and Brandon's and Erica's energy through the podcast. I'm excited to be here and grow artistically, emotionally, spiritually, and manifestly.
Yay, yes, Maria painted a beautiful mural at the Mystic Manor. So if you've ever been to the Mystic Manor and you're familiar with, we call it the goddess wall. It's like this really beautiful goddess that stands just across from the kitchen. If you're standing in the kitchen, that was painted by beautiful Maria. So yeah, thank you, Maria. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's hear from Shane. Can you give us a little intro?
Hi, yes. My name is Shane. I am a depression and anxiety coach as well as a personal trainer. I live in Miami, Florida, and I'm just so excited to be on this call because abundance and manifestation have been one of the biggest things to my healing journey on my chronic illness that I had suffered with. So I'm super excited about this conversation.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. And then last up on the stage right now, we have Corey. Can you give us a little intro?
Hey, good to see you guys or hear you guys again. I'm Corey. I've been listening to the podcast for years now. I helped out for a little bit as music manager for some time, and on and off kind of listening. Been on a bit of a journey myself, but since last I talked to, I think, Karen and Brandon, I was in a little bit of a darker place, and something magical happened where I got a scholarship actually to go train with Sonia Sophia as an EFT practitioner. So some magic is happening and abundance is real.
Yes, I love that. And I love Sonia and you. The thought of you two together. Oh, how cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yay. That's so awesome. So glad to hear it. Okay. Thank you, Corey. We have Ohas. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. You came up on stage. Will you want to give a little intro?
Yeah, sure. I'm totally new here. I mean, I know Corey, actually. That's my boy. So I just got the notification that he's in the group and I joined, and I guess it's synchronicity. Because also Shane, I'm literally moving to Miami, Florida in 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm a musician. I actually create like a mixture of multiple genres tied together with like brainwave harmonics. And yeah, I mean, similar magic happened to me. Like, I'm an independent artist. I lost all my gigs due to the lockdown. But, I happened to have some, Bitcoin and stuff from years back. So like just that actually saved my life. And, I've just been really on the wave of, investing and, using my energy in all ways to grow myself. And I feel like, money is one aspect, but it really aligns with everything else. So I was just like kind of, I guess, attracted into this group right now, and I'm just excited to, meet more people.
Ohas, let's definitely connect, brother, when you get to Miami. I just followed you on here.
All right, word. 2 weeks, bro.
All right, perfect. You're definitely meant to be here. And then we have Lewis that just joined us as well. Hello, Lewis. Welcome. You want to just introduce yourself briefly, and then we'll jump in?
Yeah, my name's Lewis. I'm new here too. I saw Beta was in the room and it was about abundance and manifestation. So here I am. Came to check it out. There you go.
Can I give a secondary intro to Lewis? Would that be okay, Lewis? So Lewis is
Yep.
one of the greatest teachers I've ever had in my life. He has been a coach to me over the last year. He's an incredible chef. Like I'm talking an artist, really. And he's one of the tools of mass construction, I would call him, that I have in my life. So that's Lewis, an amazing resource of just wisdom. Hi, Lewis. Love having you here.
Hi, thanks, Beta.
I love it. So awesome. And then one more, we got Jonathan coming up on the stage. I'm so glad everybody's joining us up here. We want everyone to be part of the conversation. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to everybody. Great to see you all. I'm from Emeryville, just north of Oakland. Great to be with everybody.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Jonathan. All right. So let's get started. We'll start the conversation. And again, anyone out in the audience at any point, please raise your hand and jump up on stage so we can all discuss. But I'll put the question out there for anyone. You know, when you join this group, you see Keys to Abundance and Manifestation Q&A. This is really open. What comes to mind? What do you guys want to know? What's a question that you have regarding this topic? Or again, if there's just anything else popping up for you in your life,
challenge,
something on, a challenge or something that you are seeking guidance on, or really anything. We're super open. So just feel free to take your mic off and jump in.
Yeah. And to add to that, or if you feel like, hey, this is something that I've figured out in regards to this general topic, that I am in this moment feeling a ping to share. Usually when you feel those pings, it's because someone who is within earshot distance of you is meant to hear it. So this is all about everyone getting a chance to both teach and be the teacher, the student, and everything in between. So I will put it out there. Who here has had a interesting journey in the last year with abundance and manifestation, or let's say a positive journey even with abundance and manifestation during the COVID chrysalis? Is there anyone here who is actually it's been a positive, and of course abundance can take on many forms. So I'm curious if there's anyone here that's been the case for them.
I would like to speak on that.
Great. Thank you, Shane.
So at the beginning of 2020 is kind of my journey started, I want to say 3 years ago. I started getting some symptoms. I didn't pay much to it, but at the beginning of 2020 is when it actually got to its worst. I was diagnosed with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I had liver toxicity. My pancreas started failing me. I was very malnourished in my nutrients to the point where I wasn't creating their neurotransmitters, and I was forgetting my wife's name. Someone that I was seeing every single day for 3 years. And in that journey of getting sick, all I wanted to do was get better. And that's all I started journaling and started manifesting health and wellness. And I was seeking help in the medical field. And unfortunately, they kind of swept me underneath the rug and they told me it was all in my head, that there was nothing wrong with me. And family, coming from a Hispanic family, they kind of said the same thing. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. And I'm like, no, like this is something serious. So I took it upon myself to start journaling and manifesting a healthier life and a healthier well-being and overall health. So I started getting my certifications. I got my certification in personal training and health and nutrition, and just trying to find a way to heal myself naturally. And alongside of that, I got my life coaching certification in anxiety and depression. And I started school in September for functional medicine. But along that journey of manifesting my health, I did get better. It took about a year to recover. And right now I'm coming out the other end of it. But the abundance that I had was meeting people like you guys know, Jeremy. I was able to contact him. Now we're actually looking at a partnership, working together. But also it was an amazing thing once I manifested my health. My wife lost 35 pounds. My mother and sister lost like 25 pounds. And now little by little, everybody around me is just getting their health back. And I'm so grateful for it.
Wow, that's an incredibly inspiring story. I think when you shared that your lifestyle change actually caused a chain reaction for your family, that's incredible. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, that's such a good story. And I love what I love about that is you bring up something that, we talk about in the book a lot is that, when we say abundance, sometimes people can think just financial abundance. But what you're saying is, there's all these other forms of abundance that float in, like, a business partner relationship and improved health. So this is something Brandon and I were just talking about earlier, kind of posing this question to people. So maybe I'd love to pose it to the group and hear everyone's take. What does abundance mean to you? When you hear abundance, what does that mean to you? I'd love to hear some other insights and opinions on that.
Well, if you guys are open to it, I could share right now. I really resonate a lot with everything that's being said, and I'm grateful for that. First of all, I think abundance for me really means being able to just be in every moment, like not escaping anything. And I feel like at the beginning of COVID, like I was really being mirrored a lot of things. Like I was not in abundance in any way. Like I was addicted to smoking. I was, eating unhealthy. And I'm actually outside right now, so I hope there's no like a lot of feedback from the wind or whatever. But yeah, like I was just stuck. I was been working on my music for years, and wasn't getting anywhere. And I was just questioning everything, and internally I was just every day I was trying to escape this feeling that I didn't get to where I had set out to go, that I was just this negative conditioning. And I feel like abundance is truly being free from that, because I feel like that's truly the start. Like abundance is the baseline. Abundance is what is actually available. And I actually ended up launching 3 different businesses, just reinvesting. And that's what I came to realize literally, is that everything comes down to how we use and spend our energy. Like we could spend it on things that that could drain us, that could just be spent, or we could invest it into things that will build that energy, that will multiply exponentially. And I think that's where my whole life really changed, because I was able to come to a baseline point within myself where it's kind of like quantum physics, or literally quantum shifting, where in this moment you pretty much come to a 0 point by accepting, like the past happened, the past is the way it is. And instead of constantly trying to go to the other polarity to kind of feel like it's not there, just accepting it, and then from this moment on really being the version of me that I want to be, like making the long-term decisions that I need to make, and then breaking that down into what I actually have to do now. And then I realized there's freedom in that. That was abundance to me. Like even though I'm like almost constantly working all the time, I love what I'm doing. So like I'm just grateful to be able to do that every single day. And as soon as I switched that frame, it's crazy, because like I was someone who I was always in restrictions in my consciousness. Like growing up, like I always had a lot of restrictions from my parents, like always restrictions, like in my own thinking, restrictions in the way I was feeling, and like the really one rigid way I was doing things. Like I was missing it. I could go travel somewhere, but inside I would be in that same place, and I wouldn't be able to really be present for where I was going. And I did that, I took 2 years, just total risk of just working on my music, and I built it up a bit, but it wasn't where it was going. And then that just opened me up to like all these other things, like trading. And I've been trading cryptocurrency, and even Corey trades with me, and this literally changed my life. And I'm actually helping other people, and that's actually helping my music. It's helping everything. And it's crazy how I went from literally being broken and you know, I guess externally broke, you know, in a way, to like just magically like things are happening, and I just feel like I should share that, because like, yeah. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. You know what I think of when you were just talking about really like abundance in the moment. Like this moment is all the abundance, like is here and now. And I actually interviewed a guy on for the Positive Head podcast that it will be released in a week or so. But he's built $1 billion company, and you know he you know actually runs a spirituality meets business podcast as well. And he talked about his own journey with abundance and how a big shift for him was in realizing that everything he always was doing was like a means to an end, and that he was always, well, I'm doing this so I can have this, I'm doing this so I can, okay, now I'm gotta, you know, go get a drink, oh, okay, now I gotta go get something to eat, okay, now I'm gotta, you know, do this particular entrepreneurial thing so that I can get that. It's always like a means to an end, right? And it occurred to him, if he wanted to be fully tap into abundance and you know, appreciating everything about his life, is he coined the phrase, I believe he coined it, be the means. Like, make that where you are, be completely content with being the means to an end, and finding the joy and the beauty and the that's the success, in a sense, that you get the opportunity to do these things. And when you look in that way, where you're always trying to, you know, everything's a means to an end, you're doing so much of that. If you become the means, you are, you know, it's like success. I am appreciating this process is another way of saying it, right? And I really liked the way he framed it, and Ohas, what you said made me think of that, so I thought I would share.
Yeah, wow.
So I want to chime in here because this is so great. The last 3 QHHT sessions that I have done, and for anyone listening who doesn't know what that is, it's basically a past life regression technique where you go into another existence to help you understand what's going on in your life now. And then you also get to speak, your higher self speaks through you, so you can really get a thorough understanding. And so the last 3 clients, a lot of their questions have been around success and around money. And so they were all shown different experiences to help them understand what that meant for them. In the end, the point was always the same. The point was, you already have everything you need. And what you need is that love that is you and that is surrounding you. And that when you recognize that and you fully understand that you already have that the path is clear. Literally, the last 3 people have said the exact same thing. The path is clear when you understand this. You already have everything you need. That's it.
Wow, yes. I was just listening to another, room where that was like the whole center was that the love you need is the love that comes from you. And so that is so heavy, but that's what I've been learning like throughout this whole year and pandemic. I went through like a whole depression and, especially when when you think that you're working on yourself or, that's all you do is try to work on yourself and try to fix everything that's wrong with you. You psychoanalyze like your
Sorry, Maria, I
actions.
don't mean to interrupt you. You have some sort of background noise coming in that's really high pitched, and so it's making it a little hard to hear you. I don't know if you're able to turn down the volume or maybe move to another space.
I'll move to another space. Hold on.
Okay, good, because I really like what you're saying, and I really want to hear it.
Yeah, so is this better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Yeah, so it was like I had like the hardest year in 2020, always psychoanalyzing myself and, and the root of it all was like, you give so much of yourself away and you're just trying to be, just trying to be kind and all that. And that all matters because that's kind of like who I am. But I realized like I wasn't being kind to myself. Like I wasn't, the higher, whatever the voice inside your head was, is she being kind to you? Are you being kind to your inner child? And I realized like my force of, or what I think success is like inner peace. I mean, I used to think it was money and having everything I want, and I feel like if I have inner peace with with who I am right now, I feel like all those things will come into alignment. Like I will be happy once I'm happy within, and sometimes I fall out of alignment, and I realize like this year mainly in 2021 is that there's so much healing taking place worldwide, and you're going to be so sensitive to everyone around you. But if you continue to love yourself and be true to who you are, like your dreams will come true. Like certain things happen. I got into school, and like those certain fears that I kept doubting myself about, that, oh, I'll never get accepted, and it's just something I heard, something I told myself years ago. And then I finally just got out of my own way. I was like, just apply, put in the work, just do it, just try it out. And I got in, and it's a special thing when you just you give yourself the love you need. Like be the mother, you know like be the mother you never had. Be that mother spirit, child spirit, be what you need. And I think like that's how I found my alignment, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on unlocking more keys and more healing. But overall, I think that self-love and being like there for yourself during those processes, even on the not so good days, is what makes it, when you're sensitive to those not so good days, like you have understanding for yourself like you would a child when they're upset. So yeah, that's like kind of my thoughts.
I love that so much. That's so eloquently said, and I love what everybody's saying. And it's something. One of the keys that Brandon talks about in his book, one of the 8 keys, is be. And I feel like that's a lot of what we're talking about, is this idea of just being with what is. And one of the things that he says in there that I've heard him talk about before, but it really resonates with me, is the idea, and correct me if I'm not getting this right, babe, but it's most people are doing things in order doing things in order to have
Yeah.
you say it.
Most people are
Do
doing
have
something like most people are doing something like work in order to have something like money, in order to be something like happy. So this do have be sort of approach to life, which is all backwards, because when you move into the state of beingness, you're being something like happy, then since you're creating your life from within, there is no out there. When you're being something like happy, you then are going to find yourself doing and having things that reflect that happiness. So so many people are sort of chasing something that is out there that they created previously with their vibrational offering, not realizing how it works. And it once you realize it's all about how you can show up in the moment and really have that healthy sense of detachment to what is, just accepting just the process of your life is the abundance that you ultimately were seeking when you chose to come in. It was like, what is abundance? Getting to experience physicality, getting to be in 3D. And so when you can tap into that perspective, it's like everything else becomes icing on the cake. I heard the other day for the first time the third patriarch of Zen. I don't know if you guys have heard this, and it basically says the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. And so when you start realizing like, oh, hold on, it's that easy, it's that easy and that challenging all rolled into one. And yeah, with that being said, I also see Luke just popped up on the stage, and he always has great wisdom. He's actually been a guest on Positive Head before as well. So I would love if he has anything inspiring to share, or anyone else as well. But I noticed him and wanted to say, what's up, Luke? So he either doesn't have something to share or he's not there. You might have set his phone down. So anyone else have anything to chime in here?
I'd love to add a little something there.
Please. Awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We'll have Corey, and then we'll have Lewis jump in after.
Yeah. So for me, it's really been about a journey into my body these past few months, or this past year. Really starting with doing a lot of ecstatic dances, going out to that a lot, doing a lot of more like tantra trainings and that kind of field, and like going into, you know, embodiment, emotional release, and really understanding the concept of like the inner beloved. Who is your inner beloved? Who is, and maybe it could be the opposite gender or whatever it is, but like for me, it's like this beautiful feminine version of myself that, you know, I don't give enough love to, or I don't have it be seen as often as I'd like it to. Something that I've learned recently from one of my mentors was relational love is all a bonus. The first person you need to make sure that you're loving is yourself. And I really like that idea, this idea that, you know, there's, you know, all that kind of stuff is just bonus. It's just all this excess kind of stuff. And then on top of all that beautiful work that you've done on yourself. And like the more I sit with that and the more I just care for myself and love myself, and then realize that myself is the spirit, it is the greatness, it is the totality of it all. It's like, oh, okay, now I can speak to myself in ways that is really kind of gentle and serene and is bringing forth the abundance that I do desire. And I swear that like that's how I was able to really kind of get myself to a place where I'm now going to be working with Sonia Sophia and doing this tapping training, is because when I was applying for the scholarship and doing this video for her, I came like I was just fully in it. Like I was like, this is, I know this is where my heart is. I know this is where my power is. And I'm not doing this, you know, because I feel I need to get somewhere, but because this is a path of service for me and the world. It's just, this is an outlet, and it's not the one and only one, but it is certainly one that has the potential to really be magical and powerful. So yeah.
I love that. So cool. Well said, Corey. Louise, do you want to jump in and share your thoughts?
Yeah, I love that too. I don't I really love that what we're talking about is being abundant. I feel like I always knew that abundance was a way of being, like intellectually, and it's really been in like maybe the last year and a half, 2 years that it's started to, I don't know, start's probably not the right word, but it's sunk in that it's a way of being, and it's something that I can always choose in this present moment. I like the definition of abundance as overflowing fullness, and I can always choose to be overflowingly full in this moment. And as long as I'm willing to continuously choose that, then I'm continuously abundant. And I one of the best things I learned in the last year is that what it is that I feel like I'm lacking, if I choose to give it away, then it immediately flows into me, or was already there and I choose to notice it. So if I feel like I'm being disregarded, I give acknowledgement. And if I feel like I'm being demeaned, I give empowerment. And that immediately shifts me into an abundant mindset and shifts whatever I was feeling. And again, I just get to continuously choose to be overflowingly full. That's it.
Oh, I love that so much. I want to chime in real quick. It's, you know, I believe we will have the opportunity to, you know, how the universe allows us to receive is by giving what we want for ourselves, and that's how it flows back to us. Most of us have probably seen the meme with the people sitting around a big open bowl of soup or something with super long spoons, and the only way everyone can be fed is by feeding each other, because if you try and hold the spoon in your own hand and feed yourself, it's way too long and you can't get it to your mouth. And so it's truly, it's such a cosmic laugh the way this whole thing is structured, that, you know, I literally can find a way to give away what I want for myself. Always do it, because in that moment, like Lewis has realized, you're actually telling the universe that you have it to give. And therefore, you're being it vibrationally in that moment, which then leads to a reflection of it being out there, like we talked earlier with the, be, do, have. Now you're going to find yourself doing and having things that are a reflection of that vibration. So it's like the hack to manifesting what you want for yourself. And of course, the underlying reason I believe that this all works. Why does it work this way? Why is it structured this way? Gandhi said he figured it out. If you want to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. Why does it hold true? Because there are no others. We're always doing it to an extension of self. And so once you start getting that, like, everyone up here is sort of talking about in different ways, it becomes, that's where your dharmic path is going to involve some level of service for that very reason. All of our dharmic path will, and the joy is in discovering what that is and what lights us up to share. And like, Corey, it's so great because we talked to Corey a few weeks ago, and he, really challenging point, and yet all this heart, this person, knowing him for a long time, he has so much heart. It's like, dude, it's inevitable that you just stick with that pure intention and keep your eyes open, and like a curious child, turn over the rocks that kind of come along your path, and there's going to be some gold under one of them.
This very sort of serendipitously reminds me of a book that I've just finished reading right now called The Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz. I don't know if anyone else has read it, but it essentially goes into what's happening on the other side and pre-life planning. And Robert Schwartz, interviews a number of different people, and a number of them go under sort of hypnosis, and they work with different intuitives to kind of tap into what their pre-life plan was. And in almost every scenario, the individual's plan was to learn in this lifetime through opposites. So much like, what you're saying, was it Corey, I think it was, who was talking about it, that, when you find yourself in that place of lack or something that you're missing, or you're feeling, sort of lonely and abandoned, then you give the attention to someone else. It's like that exact thing, like looking at the opposite. And if you take the perspective that, oh, wow, I've actually planned this situation for me because I put myself here to experience this, for lack of a better term, sort of negative feeling, this lack of abundance, so that I could recognize it and then feel abundant. So, I mean, if anybody hasn't read this book, I think it's really great. You should probably check it out too.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our sponsor, Noom. Noom is a unique, habit-changing solution that helps users learn to develop a new relationship with food. And it's not a diet. No food is considered good or bad. As we talk about on this show all the time, it's all about proper balance and having good habits. And Noom just teaches you how to look within your own mind and make better decisions for yourself. Sounds familiar, right? It's based in psychology, eating better to feel better. It focuses on the story that we tell around food and how to feel good about our choices. And they make it all super easy to do with a minimal commitment of only 10 minutes a day, which is essential for someone like me with so much on my plate. Pun intended. So if you guys would like to try out the cognitive behavioral approach to losing weight that has led to 80% of Noomers finishing the program and 60% sticking to their goals for at least 1 year, head over to noom.com/positivehead to start your trial today. That's spelled NOOM.com/positivehead. I mean, what do you have to lose except outdated habits and perhaps a few extra pounds by signing up for the trial? Once again, that's NOOM.com/positivehead. Check it out.
I love that, Thea. There's always a plan. Thank you for chiming in. That past life plan is always something that's good to remember, because, or that plan that we make before we come in, because everything is always happening for us. And this is for our growth. This is all opportunities for us when we feel this lack. And you know, it's interesting too, because we always have the equal and opposite energy within ourselves. And so I love this point of being able to give what you need, because that is what is within you.
I love that. I love this whole idea has come up a lot for me recently. This idea of, you know, coming here for contrast and needing those, or having those experiences that are, you know, quote unquote less desirable or unpleasant, but understanding that, you know, like you said, to have a lack of abundance, then when you have abundance, you understand and appreciate it even more. And yeah, this has been coming up a lot for me in many different ways, and reflections outside of me and inside myself. And it's been something that, you know, just having like some major breakthroughs with lately, of going through really challenging emotions and really trying to feel into, like, it's like just a total like mental gymnastics of trying to even not just like, okay, these are good, these will pass, but actually these are things that I enjoy. This is good. Like, I want this because I know the good that's going to come out of this. I want this challenging situation in my life. This is a good thing. And really leaning into you know, seeing the opportunity for growth in every situation, and allowing yourself to not just say, oh, this too shall pass, I'll get through this, you know, waiting to get to the other side, but actually being in the challenging situations or the challenging emotions, and in that moment have gratitude for it. In that moment have the insight and the expanded perspective to see, this is so good for me, this is happening for me, I'm so grateful for what's happening now, not in retrospect.
Hi, this is Adam down in the lower right hand corner here. Karen, I'm really glad that you brought that perspective to the table. I feel in conversations around manifestation and abundance, there's often this fine line between, I guess, what I would deem to be a spiritual bypass in many respects, and actually leaning into the experiences you described. And so I just want to thank you for bringing that to the table, because part of what you described, or at least what I heard you say, I mean, you said it so eloquently and joyfully, and yet in that experience, it's often quite freaking challenging, right? To stay in that place, to feel those very challenging emotions that are coming up and are on some level asking to be resolved. And so, the whole idea of spiritual bypass, I think, is an interesting one, and kind of riding that fine line between having a positive mindset and yet doing the work that you described. So thanks for sharing that. This is Adam.
I'd love to chime in on that, Adam. It's such a great point. It's like this idea that, you know, Eric and I run the Positive Head podcast. So, you know, it's funny because I've watched over the years, even at times like, this idea of being positive is, you know, wrong or just off. And not to say that's what you were saying, but I think you're right. There's such a fine line. And it's like coming to a point where you're positive or optimistic about the whole journey. Like, yes, I'm going to have hardship. I'm going to have off days. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to hurt. And that's what my soul came here for. And it doesn't mean it's going to hurt any less. And actually, I'm not certain. It's actually going to help give me some courage to face it and to go through it instead of this constant, distraction. How do I look the other way, make myself super, super busy so I don't have to face it, whatever. Instead, it gives you just enough, like, I'm positive about facing the negative and embracing the challenge and knowing like this is the juicy stuff that my soul came here for. This is the stuff it was excited about experiencing. And I think that is very important piece for people to consider. And it takes it takes you really being brave to stop running from your demons and allow this stuff, this energy that wants to move through all of us, especially now. I feel like, I don't know how you guys have been coming through and out of the COVID chrysalis, as I like to call it, but it seems like there is a quickening happening where, just more and more, it's more intense energetically, and things coming up that are just like, oh, what is this? Oh, how do I process this? And I think just having that perspective, it makes it just a bit easier to muster up the courage to face these things. I found.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that. And within that, there's this element of practice, right? It's like the more that we can practice facing it and leaning into it, in some respects, the easier it becomes. But I like how you framed it with this kind of overarching theme of, this is my curriculum, this is my soul's journey, and therefore I'm going to embrace it and lean into it and not use mechanisms of avoidance and distraction. So thanks for that, Brandon.
I want to chime in here because actually the podcast that we're going to release tonight has this question in it about changing your old story to make it suit you. And we always tell ourselves, tell a different story. But to change the story of the traumatic past isn't it. It's to change the perspective of that story, right? To change the perspective of how did that help me, as opposed to how am I the victim of that. So essentially what you've been saying, but it's so different to just change your perspective, not the story.
Erica, I would actually love to go off of that, because that's what I actually do with my anxiety and depression clients, is to change the narrative of how the negative connotation around anxiety and depression is the enemy. And I try to help my clients understand that anxiety and depression are actually your best friends. Because your best friends are not going to tell you, hey, if you're feeling bad, that do something about it. They're going to be like, it's okay, time will pass, everything will be okay. But I believe anxiety and depressions are our best friends, because they are the true ones that are going to tell you something's wrong, that you need to fix it. And I kind of help with framing work depending on like each person's problem of how they could see that as their best friend and what anxiety and depression is truly trying to tell them.
I really agree, yo. Like, you can either like just want it, or it can already be here. You know what I mean? Like there's really no in between. And a lot of times I felt like I was caught in between. Like I really wanted it and I was putting in the work, but I was caught in this energy, that old story for sure. You know what I mean? It was subconsciously like wired in. So it's not just the thinking, but that feeling state. And I feel like the world really tries to condition you, but that's how you wake up. And it's just like, exactly, like once I really woke up, it's like, I'm already in the moment. Now is the only time you can even make that change happen, to actually rewire that. And I mean, if you guys are interested, I actually make like delta, theta, and gamma wave, complete light body healing brainwave stuff live. And yeah, if you guys are interested in that, it can totally help, realign, the chakras and energies, and completely beyond, just on a brainwave level. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys. Like, I feel like we are climbing right now.
I would love to jump in on this. So there's some practice that I want to share with you guys that I do, or that I've been doing this last year, that's been helping a lot. I went through depression in 2020, and I felt like there was a overwhelming wave of sadness in me that I did not know how to handle. And what I would do, and Lisa, my friend who's in the audience, knows all about this, but I would literally sit there and I would talk to it. Like I give it a character separate of myself, because it's not me, right? I'm experiencing depression. I am not depressed. It's something separate that, or the way I like to see it is that it's something separate that's here to teach me something. It's got information, and once the information is relayed, I almost feel like I graduate from it. And there's phases where I'm sitting in the depression, knowing that I can get out of depression by bypassing it, but I say, no, I still have more there. There's more information there for me. Let me sit in this. And I sit with it. I actually sit and do meditations where I'm talking to it, like, what are you here to teach me? So I wanted to just share that. exercise, I think it's helped me a lot. And I'm then very aware of when I come out of the depression, like when I'm ready to just graduate, you know? And the other thing I wanted to share that I think is a key to abundance and manifestation, and it's funny, I didn't even realize that was, I just subconsciously knew that was the title of the room, but it's one of the ingredients, let's call it, is to know what feeling you're seeking. I know that people generally use the term happy, like I just want to be happy, but are we aware when we say that exactly what that feeling is in the body and the mind and the spirit? Like how does that feel physically when you're happy? So identifying exactly the feelings that you actually want to achieve or want to arrive at, so that when you're in them, whether you've gotten the thing that you're seeking to get, whether you've gotten the car or the job or the money, like you're aware that it's happening. You're processing that feeling. Oh, I'm feeling happy right now, even though I don't have that car that I'm saving up for, even though I haven't moved into the apartment that I really want to move into, which I think once I move in, I'll be happy. Let me just note that right now, without having that thing, physically, emotionally, I'm experiencing the experience that I was seeking to arrive at. So just getting really, really clear on the feelings that we're asking for, so that when, you know, when we're in them, when we're experiencing them, we've arrived without the external, you know, the external manifestations of the things that we think that we want that'll get us there. So that's kind of a different way of saying the be do have, but I just wanted to share that.
I honestly love that. And Beta, when you said how you sit with the depression and you say you are experiencing it, and I think that's the thing with society nowadays, is we tend to put labels on everything and say this is it, this is what you have, and you are this. But I've always said it, that anxiety and depression are symptoms; they are not diagnosis. And with me, I remember exactly the time I was walking through Walmart and I had this full-blown panic attack. And I literally just sat there and I said, I forgive myself for experiencing this anxiety because it is just trying to tell me something. And literally within 10 seconds, the anxiety went away.
Yeah, I've really liked this idea for myself of thinking of emotions as internal guidance system, and like rumble strips on a highway. And when you're starting to feel the intense emotions, that's your guidance system going, okay, something's, you know, you're a little out of alignment. Time to move through this emotion, feel it, so that you know that the path is, you know, just lean a little bit over, and you'll actually be, you know, soaring a little bit. So it's just kind of like this beautiful, like little wake up call that's like, okay, now it's time to feel these so that you can get on the right path.
Yeah, isn't it great what Shane just shared? Is like, as soon as he was aware, brought love and understanding to that moment. I'm sure that was, you know, that's not most people's knee-jerk reaction with a panic attack or something, right? It's like, I'm going to get panicky about the panic attack, and it becomes this escalating domino effect. But by bringing, you know, attention and love and acceptance and forgiveness and these powerful emotions, like, you know, it's like, even though you're trembling, it's like you're digging down deep and finding these beautiful things to bring to it. And, you know, what happens? Well, along with the whole idea of what we resist persists, what we accept we move through, right? So what happened in his case, it's processed very quickly. And so, yeah, I love all these shares.
That did take a lot of practice to get there, but now I'm there, and it literally it doesn't land on me and stay as long as it used to. It literally just comes as high and then disappears.
Something that I've noticed as well with, you know, we're talking about with anxiety and depression and things like this, oftentimes our emotions are like not caught up with where we are mentally, you know. And it's true with just our development. It's like our intellectual development develops quicker than our emotional intelligence. And I feel like sometimes it's like our minds and where we're at in one realm, like in our intellectual realm, is ahead of where our emotions are. And so a lot of times it can be really confusing. And I've noticed this in myself where it's like I'm having these physical sensations of emotions. I'm having this physical sensation of being anxious or being fatigued or being sad. And intellectually, I'm like, no, I'm not there. Like, I'm so past feeling this way. But it's like the body hasn't quite caught up yet. And so, kind of just bringing that awareness to myself and that realization to myself has really helped me to practice that, because like you said, Shane, yeah, it takes practice. And again, it's like intellectually I've known it for a long time. Brandon says it all the time: what you resist persists. What you know, and like what no and I say it all the time and I
What
sound
you
so dumb.
accept,
What you
what you
accept
accept,
you
you
move
move through.
through. And yet it's so hard to not resist, because I'm like, I don't prefer this. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel these feelings. But coming in, just kind of having that increased awareness of that, you know, my emotions may be lagging behind a little bit where I am intellectually, has really given me the freedom to not resist them, because my inclination in the past would be trying to figure out and attach intellectually, oh, here's this emotion, here's this anxiety and depression, what's happening, why is it happening, and I really want to like connect A to B so I can solve A and then fix the emotion. And instead just trusting, like, oh, okay, this is something that's come up. It could be something that I intellectually processed a week ago, but now here it comes emotional. Let it move through, move on with my day. That's been like a major hack for me that I'm still practicing.
I just want to jump in here because, Karen, I love everything you're saying. And I think it's important to also add that, you know, when you try to do that and you're not able to, that you have to be really kind to yourself and not be too judgmental of yourself if you were not able to actually do it. So, like Shane was saying, you know, it took a lot of practice. And Shane, I'd be interested to know how many times you may have beaten yourself up the first, in the beginning when you tried to calm yourself down and think about it. Because I know that from personal experience, as you become more and more aware, uh, in the beginning, you're being very, very judgmental. And so you have to kind of remind yourself in those times, hey, you know what? I'm actually, this is coming into my awareness now. And, I just want to give myself credit and forgive myself for not being able to actually go in the direction that I want to go in to process this emotion, and just know that, although I'm in a fit right now, maybe the next time it comes up, that might be the time that I can actually, step in the other direction and process it.
I would say truly, I was suffering with anxiety and depression for probably about 3 years on and off. But until I got chronically sick and I had no choice, it was 3 months of every single day a full-blown anxiety panic attack, because I was calling all my negative energy. Like, physically I was saying, please let me experience you because I want to get past you already. And literally every day for 3 months I was having an anxiety attack, and every time an anxiety attack popped up from a conversation that I had suppressed for years that I didn't even realize, every time it came into my fruition, I was saying, I forgive you because I did not know back then. And it passed. And then another thought came up, and then I said, forgive you because you did not know back then. And 3 months, I like to say, for every year you'll have a month of true deep healing. So for me, it was like 3 years. And for 3 months, I was having full-blown anxiety attacks when I finally dove into healing everything.
Hey, this is Adam. I just wanted to thanks for that, Shane. Thanks for that, Thea. I just wanted to piggyback on something that is it Bita? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, Beta.
Bita. Okay, Bita. I love what you shared, and you may have said this, and if you did, I apologize if I'm repeating it. What I heard you say is you created separation from the emotion that you were experiencing, so you didn't take it on as being part of who you are. And on top of that, and again, you may have said this, if you can if it's the depression, the sadness, whatever it is, actually give it a voice and hear what it has to say to you. It can be really powerful methodology to learn a little bit more about it. And it's an extension of Gestalt therapy and Fritz Perl, who I think is just an amazing amazing creator and inventor. So thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it. This is Adam.
Yeah, it makes me think of the idea of like emotion, energy and motion. And if you think of yourself as this, at our source, or if you think of source or higher self or God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, it's, I've heard it referred to as the unmoved mover, the same the same part of yourself that was there, the observer behind it all, the same observer that was there when you were 5 and that will be there when you're 95, silently observing. That's your soul. That's your connection to the most ancient part of yourself. And when you can tap into that being, the power of now is marvelous at breaking all this stuff down, right? And creating that separation and realizing like I am the observer behind the thing that's happening in my periphery, so to speak. And it's like the one thing in life guaranteed is change, and it's energy in motion. If you can think of it as like clouds that are passing by, and here comes clouds. It's a cloudy day, it's dark, it's a thunderstorm, but you know what? There's always sunshine behind that. And so you start creating that natural separation, and it really is a powerful tool to process the stuff in the healthiest way, I believe.
Yeah, Brandon, you just reminded me of this teaching that I recently learned about like our stories, our inner stories that like come through our mind and we react to or get traumatic events to. And this way of thinking is like treating your stories like hunting animals, or they're really like back in the day when you're going after this animal, you actually respect it, you love it, you care for it, you keep an eye on it, and you bring in that sweetness of like, okay, let me respect this animal. You also bring in this like patience of like, okay, I'll strike when the time is right, and cunning to like kind of know what the animal is, know what it does. And then finally, like when you're going for it, you fully like enter the moment and be like, this story is just that. It's just a story, and I can use it as fuel for the next version of myself.
Corey, I love that. And going back to what Brandon said, being an observer, I'm currently writing an autobiography called I Found My Mind When I Lost It. And it's pretty much how I observed depression, anxiety when I was going through depression, anxiety, and really becoming aware and seeing how it was trying to communicate with me, and just following it and literally seeing how it fits and entwines with literally every single thing in our lives, and how you have a choice every day to choose anxiety or depression. And I think it's just beautiful when we become observers of our lives.
Oh, I love that so much. It's so good. And it's true. It's really, it kind of comes back to something that we said in the very beginning, which is abundance is a way of being that you can always choose in any moment. And so it really is like moment to moment, when you're having these emotions move through, choosing whether you want to stay in that experience for the contrast, again, not putting judgment on it. Like Thea said, I really appreciate that too. The forgiving yourself. So, do I want to stay in this for a moment so I can really get that contrast? Or am I ready to choose in this now moment to move into that feeling of abundance and feeling like I'm already it and I have everything? So beautiful. I've really been enjoying this conversation. Brandon and I have to run, but I really would love this conversation to continue. So if anyone would like to become a moderator, we'll keep the room going. But while we have you all here, those of you that haven't read Brandon's book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance, it explores all of these ideas and more in a really poetic, beautiful way. If you click on my profile, you'll see the link of where you can go. You can go to goldenkey.gift and use the code Clubhouse to get the book as our gift to you, the audio or ebook. It's a quick 3-hour listen. It's 500 pages. So it's really something that, if you have
100 pages.
100 pages. What did I say? Yeah.
500.
No, yeah, it's not 500. It's 100 pages, 3 hours. So you really can digest it in a single sitting or two. And it's really, really powerful and eloquently put together, these ideas of abundance and a lot of the things that we've touched on today, which is that abundance is your birthright. It's already within you. It's there ready for you to access. And this book lays out 8 keys that you can tap into and use to start unlocking more abundance in your life in really practical ways. So again, go ahead and if you click on my profile, you'll see the link of where to go. It's goldenkey.gift, and you can use the code Clubhouse, and you can get the audio or the ebook as a gift. But yeah, Brandon and I are going to jump. But Beta, I don't know if you're able to stay, or if anyone else that isn't a moderator, we can make you a moderator and we can keep this room running.
Yeah, I actually have to hop off too. I had a 7 p.m. call. It's 7 p.m. here in LA. So, yeah, I also have to run, but I know that there's a lot of amazing people in this room, and I would love to have this conversation keep going. So is anybody up for that, to carry on the torch?
I gotta run too, you guys. I'm sorry. It's dinner time with the baby and family and things.
They don't need to eat.
Not that baby. He can starve.
All right. Well, if everyone's feeling the same way, that it's time to kind of wind down the night, totally understand. But we are having these conversations every week, Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be continuing the conversation. So if you guys follow Brandon or myself and hit that little notification button, the bell, then you'll be notified, or just put it in your own calendar and jump on Clubhouse Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, we'll see you again here. We can continue the conversation and love to hear more about how these ideas and tools are unlocking more abundance in everyone's lives.
Yeah, and I'll just add to all of you, I record these as indicated, and then I release them on Friday on the Positive Head podcast to offer something a little different to listeners, where they get to hear wisdom from all of you. So thank you all for contributing your wisdom, and I'd love to, like Karen said, we'd love to see you here next Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific if you can. And we're just starting to do this as sort of a regular thing, and it feels really, really good to get so many brilliant souls together. And it's just, I love this app in general. It's so powerful, and so thank you guys for co-creating this with us, and we look forward to next time.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
that was
you.
an amazing
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you.
This has been great. Love you guys.
Yay. Thank you, everyone. So awesome to get to connect with you. I hope to see you all again next time. Enjoy your night.
Love you all.
Also, quickly, before we sign off, I wanted to remind you to download the Golden Key, audio or ebook, as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the code POSITIVEHEAD. I also wanted to remind you that I will now be doing a live Q&A every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time on the new social audio app Clubhouse. I have really been wanting to connect and interact with all of you more for quite some time, and I'm super excited to now have 2 new ways to do it. First, if you're already on Clubhouse, be sure to follow me and click the little bell on my profile and select to always be notified when I go live on the Clubhouse app. And if you'd like to connect on an even more intimate Zoom gathering once a month, now you can do that too by registering at goldenkey.gift.